So if you'll first of all tell me who you are, please.
I'm Don Marshall.
And you've got a great testimony to share, Don, with us, because you were a Christian, you're still a Christian.
Indeed.
But the thing is that due to your bad health, you've had a real difficult time. And it all started for you when you were sat at home watching The Voice.
Yeah, I just didn't realise that The Voice could be so dangerous a thing to do. Yeah, I was just sat at home on a Saturday night watching The Voice, and I started getting this pain. And it started in my chest, went up my shoulders, into my teeth, down my back, in my arms. And I thought, this is not right. And I just, thought it will go, but it didn't. And so my brother-in-law was with me, and I said, look, I think I've got to go to the hospital. And what actually was happening is I was in the middle of a heart attack.
Sometimes we associate a heart attack with a person who's got a bad lifestyle.
Yeah.
Or a person who's maybe of an older age. Did you initially think when you were sat on the couch with these pains that it was a heart attack?
It didn't really occur to me at first, but it wasn't normal. I'd been having indigestion, and I knew it wasn't indigestion. I knew it was something different. It felt different, but, and it did cross your mind, is it a heart attack? But I just thought, this is not right. I do not feel okay. I need to go to the hospital.
You've had a fairly healthy lifestyle, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always had a fairly good Mediterranean diet, done a fair amount of sport, not overweight. I was 47, on the day it happened. So I'm not particularly old. And, it just came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it at all.
And the fact that you're on the show now is because of our feature on the show, What You Up To Wednesday.
Yeah.
You sent across to us a photograph of you before the operation in your hospital bed, telling us that you were awaiting heart surgery, and then after. So we've seen you progress, and it's great to have you here now. So let's just go back to, you were at A&E, you were thinking, well, I'm sure it's just muscle ache, maybe I've been lifting something or I've slept awkwardly. What happened then?
Yeah, so they did a number of tests, and one of the things they check for is your troponin, and this is the protein that's released in your blood, and if they see levels of that increasing plus your symptoms, then they can diagnose a possible heart attack. And that took a while to happen. But what I did find is the minute I walked into A&E as a over 40-year-old man with chest pains, they took me really seriously. I hardly had time to sit down. They whipped me in, put me on the machines, tested me out, took blood, and it all really progressed quite quickly from there. It was really good.
After the tests, they found out that you had had a heart attack, but it was just a minor heart attack.
Yeah, they said that it didn't seem that it caused a lot of damage. I mean, further tests revealed that over time. But what they were concerned of was my family history. So they wanted to keep me in hospital, not just give me some medication, keep me in hospital and do some further tests. So, this was a little bit scary at the time, but I just kept my faith. I thought, it's okay. They'll do the tests and I'll be okay. They'll just tell me I need to change my lifestyle, need to make sure I cut out more fat, don't drink any more beer, those kind of things. And it came to the test, and it was a proper procedure, put it in the gown and taken through, and they did what they call an angiogram. Now this is where they put a tube up your arm, so they cut a small incision in your wrist, and it goes up your arm, and it's a little bit of strange sensation. You can feel it as it comes through into your heart. You could feel it through my arm and in the chest. And they inject some dye, and they have an X-ray very close to your chest, and they take lots of pictures. I'm just letting them get on with it. It was okay. It wasn't very painful. And then the surgeon asked me, after going quiet, she said, have you had a lot of chest pain recently, in the last few years? And I said, not particularly, I've had some heartburn, had some headaches. I was feeling tired a lot when I was doing things, but I was just thinking I'm getting old, getting a bit older and slowing down. But what happened was that the diagnosis that she could see on the screen was that I had advanced heart disease. Again, totally unexpected. For
you to hear that you've got not just heart disease, but you've got real serious heart disease here. What did you feel like?
It was like a train hitting me. At first it was kind of just complete shock. The surgeon said, it's bad. All three arteries are narrowed in several places. You're going to need major heart surgery. It's going to be a triple bypass. And that was like, okay. That was such a shock. But at first I thought, okay, I can do it. I'm young enough. I'll be strong enough. And then I thought about my family. Then I started thinking, this is going to cut my life short. I'm not going to see my kids grow up. Even if I have the operation, I've got this problem. And I started, kind of getting a little bit distressed. No one was with me. I was on my own. There was no family. The visiting hours weren't for a number of hours. The hospital in Coventry, although great, only seemed to have visiting hours in the evening. So I was on my own, and it was just such a shock. I can't explain really how it felt. But then I'd gone in there having faith, thinking, I'll be okay. And then it hit me really hard. And so I had to wait for my wife to come later on and tell her what was going on, what the diagnosis was. She was like, look, you'll be fine. We'll get through this. You're strong. You do it. Her support was just amazing. And she said, look, we're Christians. We believe in God. There's a reason. We'll see how it goes. We'll just deal with this. And, I felt a lot more positive. And, they went off, and my mother-in-law was there and said, send a message to Pastor. I've got Pastor at my church in Coventry, CLM. Send him a message. Just tell him what's going on. Get people start praying for me. And people did.
You had to have a triple heart bypass. Now, we do hear about this, but I don't actually know what it is. So just tell us, physically, what do they do to the heart to make it right again?
This is quite a big operation. You've heard of open heart surgery. Yeah. Well, there are a number of procedures that require open heart surgery. Triple bypass is one of those. So you can get a single, triple, quadruple bypass. And then the number depends on how many of the arteries that they replace. Basically, cut open your chest and where the sternum is, and they use a saw to cut your sternum and split your sternum in half, and then use a clamp to a bit like a jack on a car, lifting your car up but pushing your ribs out sideways.
That sounds horrendous already.
Up. I know. I watced YouTube videos.
Aren't even in yet.
I watched YouTube videos about what was going to happen, and I wanted to know how loud the saw would be, because I was just interested. Some people would shy away from it. I thought I'd rather know what's going on, because I was unconscious, obviously, at the time, so I wouldn't hear it.
Okay.
The other thing that people don't realise and you don't think about is that they have to get a vein from somewhere to create the new arteries. And the vein comes from your leg. So they actually have to open up your leg and take a vein out.
It's very clever, isn't it?
It is amazing what they can do. Just letting them get on with it and having trust in God that the people knew what they do. That was one of the big things that I had to keep the faith in that. But they take the vein out and they use it to craft new veins, and then they stitch you back up, and they use some wire to put your bone and fuse your bone together. Then you start the recovery after that. But it's a big operation. It's about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
You have made it sound fairly easy there, where you've said, right, I'm a Christian, I believed in God, everything was fine, I had my odd moment, but, I just prayed about it. That wasn't the case, though, because you did have some real doubts, not in your faith, but just with what was about to happen. And when we do get down, sometimes the devil can start whispering and attack us. And that's what happened to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was the night I found out I'd had to have the operation. So I'd had the diagnosis. My wife had been and, told them and that as well. Of those that have ever been in hospital, they're not the quietest of places. There's machines, there's beeps, there's people in who are making noise, and it was a particularly loud night, and it was very difficult to sleep. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I faced what I would call my darkest hour. I was there, and I started having the same doubts that I first had about the family, about am I going to get through this? This is going to be painful. It's going to be terrible. My life's going to be short, and then I just stopped, and I felt God speak to me. I felt Jesus speak to me and say, you're going to be okay. And the song, and what came into my head at first was, Christ is enough for me. And that just kept playing in my head. And for a while, that was my mantra. I just thought, Christ is enough for me. I'm not going to sing because I'm not a good singer. But that song came in my head. And then I had my phone and I put on my praise and worship, playlist, and I listened to that, and I just sang quietly in the bed and just praise and worship. And for me, it was probably a bit like Paul and Silas in the prison, at midnight, at their darkest hour, they prayed. And for me, I started turning a corner there. Shortly afterwards, when I was listening to my music, my wife sent me a text. She woke up in the night and she felt the need to send me a text to tell me that I'm going to be okay and not to worry, that we are Christians. You know, God will look after us. There is a reason, and we will come out with this with a testimony. And today here I am with my testimony. And so from that day forward, I wasn't scared. You know, the fear of pain, the fear of anything, I thought, God won't give us something that we can't endure or shouldn't be able to endure ourselves, you know, it says so. And so I just believed that I would be able to take this and I would grow from it and I would get stronger.
We saw the photographs of you before the operation.
Yes.
We've seen the photographs of you after the operation. You're here with us now, looking great. Where are you up to now? Are you just completely fine and can do a marathon and play football if you wanted to?
I do. I would like to do a half marathon. I'll probably stick at a half. And one of the things that really, you talk about having faith, and it's easy to say, oh, I've got faith. But what happened to me was that in the time I was released for good behaviour from hospital, awaiting my operation. I was at home for 3 or 4 weeks. The church I'm in started a men's football team, and I just so wanted to play in the football team. And I thought, I'm going to join. I'm going to sign up. And I told the guys, look, I'm joining now, but I'm going to have this operation that's coming up, and I'm not going to be able to play until maybe May, you know, a bit in the summer. But I have faith that I will be healed and I will play. And so I signed up. The first training was on the Monday night before my operation on the Thursday. I went to it. I didn't train because I was under strict instructions not to do anything strenuous. But I went there, I prayed with the guys, I watched them, I encouraged them and just said, look, I'll be back. In April, 9 weeks after my operation, I actually felt strong enough and I went and I played football. I couldn't walk for 3 weeks afterwards because my legs were sore, but my chest was fine. So,
isn't it great though how the Bible does teach us to almost give thanksgiving for something before you've received it, which in that situation is exactly what you did.
Yeah, I did. And I've been doing training. You know, one of the things that the NHS, a lot of people complain about it. I have had a really good experience with them. They have been amazing. And after you've had a heart problem, a lot of the hospitals have a gym and they have a rehabilitation centre. So I've been going to the gym and I've been getting fitter. And I would say that I am fitter and stronger than I have been for many, many years. And I can't explain it. I can only say it's faith that's spurred me on to keep me going, and it's by God's grace. And I'm here because there's more. There's more to come.
Well, thank you very much, Dom. But just before you go, we ask all of our guests on this feature, it's a simple question. Why do you believe?
I don't know. I just do. It's quite simply. I just, I was brought up in a Christian family, and I wavered over the years, I didn't always stick to my faith. But when I met my wife and I went to a Pentecostal church for the first time, my first experience, I just felt the power of the Holy Spirit come through me. And I just knew it was right. It just felt right. And my life changed. Quite simply, my life changed. So, I've just felt the power. And I just want to live the way. And every day I want to help people. I want to get stronger in my faith. I want to live more like Jesus. And yeah, that's my future.
I believe I'm so young. I have this. It's just not. It's God's way.
I know it's God's way. Actually, God's way. But thank God.
Thank God I'm alive.
Yeah.
I look a mess.
No, you don't.
I don't even look ill, do I?
No.
Apart from this thing up my nose.
Okay, I wasn't able to get a footage yesterday. They wouldn't allow me. So I'm doing this now. He's fine.
Okay.
Thank God.
I'm okay.
What did I tell you? I said I don't argue. I knew they'd come today. I go argue. It's okay though. I just went for a pee and for a stretch my legs.
Okay. Did you go for physio?
No, they just made me get up, and I walked from the other place to the area today, and I walked a few times.
Okay.
I just need to get moving.
When you walk,
Okay.
Right. It's time to go home.
Ready for home time.
Excited. And guess, guys, look, we're marching.
Those twins.
Yeah. I love this man.
I love this one. We love each other.
Anyway, thank you guys for your prayers.
Thank you
Been amazing.
for your support. Thank you, everyone.
I've been telling him all your messages, so he got them.
God has seen us through. The love has seen us through. Your love and prayers has seen us through. Amen. God is great.
Amen.